A multinational company has just moved to AWS Cloud and it has configured forecast-based AWS budget alerts for cost management. However, no alerts have been received, even though the account and the budgets have been created almost 3 weeks ago. What could be the issue with the AWS budget's configuration? AWS requires about 5 weeks of usage data to generate budget forecasts. Maybe that might be usage data. CloudWatch could be down and hence alerts are not being sent. Account has to be part of AWS organizations to receive AWS budget alerts. Budget forecasts has been created from an account that doesn't have privileges. All right. AWS requires approximately 5 weeks of usage data. Oh yeah, usage data to generate budget forecasts. Okay. All right, easy enough. You are a developer and a manufacturing company that has several servers on site. The company decides to move new development to the cloud using serverless technology. You decide to use the AWS SAM and work with an AWS SAM template file to represent your serverless architecture. Which of the following is not a valid serverless resource type? API, function, user pool, or simple table? Serverless user pool. Okay, and here's a list of all the resource types that are appropriate. How do I make that go down? There we go. And user pool is not one of them. As an AWS Certified Developer Associate, you are given a document written in YAML that represents the architecture of a serverless application. The first line of the document contains transform AWS serverless, blah, blah, blah. What does the transform section in the document represent? An intrinsic function. Presence of transform section indicates it's a SAM template. Presence of transform section indicates it's a cloud formation parameter. It represents a Lambda function definition. All right, it indicates that it's a SAM template. The AWS serverless tramp, which is a macro hosted by AWS, takes an entire template written in the AWS and transforms and expands it into a cloud formation. Okay, I guess because it takes the SAM syntax and transforms it into a compliant cloud formation template. I guess that's the key to that. Okay. After a code review, a developer has been asked to make his publicly accessible S3 buckets private and enable access to objects with a time-bound constraint. Which of the following options will address the given use case? Use routing policies to reroute unintended access. Use bucket policy to block the unintended access. It isn't possible to implement time constraints on S3 bucket access. Share pre-signed URLs with resources that need access. Okay. Share pre-signed URLs with resources that need access. Okay. However, the object owner can optionally share objects with others by creating a pre-signed URL. Okay. Your team lead has asked you to learn AWS CloudFormation to create a collection of related AWS resources and provision them in an orderly fashion. You decide to provide AWS specific parameter types to catch invalid values. Okay. When specifying parameters, which of the following is not a valid parameter type? String, dependent parameter, AWS EC2, key pair, key name, comma, delimited list. Dependent parameter. In CloudFormation, parameters are all independent and that cannot depend on each other. Therefore, this is an invalid parameter type. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we got. Yeah. Company wants to automate its order fulfillment and inventory tracking workflow Starting from order creation to updating inventory to shipment, the entire process has to be tracked, managed, and updated automatically. Which of the following would you recommend as the most optimal solution for this requirement? AWS steps functions to coordinate and manage the components of order management and inventory tracking workflow. SNS to develop event-driven apps that can share information. SQSQ to pass info from order management to inventory tracking workflow. Configure EventBridge to track the workflow of work from order management to inventory tracking systems. Okay, use AWS step functions to coordinate and manage the components of order management and inventory tracking workflow. Step functions is a serverless function orchestrator that makes it easy to sequence AWS Lambda functions in multiple business critical. Okay. That's it. All right, that's it. Yep. That is find how to